No, really. We hit ambassador in 6 months, and I remember talking with Kyle Passay, and this is where counsel comes in. At. Kyle says, Kevin, don't, he says, don't quit your job yet. I was making about $11,000 a month at that point. I don't know how much I was making at UPS, didn't matter. And it was over twice as much as I was making at UPS. And so he was like, just keep working. Don't look at the money. You're going to trip over these pennies. We're going for big dollars. So just keep working. Keep working. You did this, work it. So keep working. And he says, that job makes you relatable too. And he says, okay. I said, okay. So here I am 6 months in, rocking and rolling. Well, it took me 8 months to break an ambassador. And that was a very tough 8 months, guys. Because there were people in town that were breaking pins, and some of the people are in your support team. And they were breaking pins, and everybody was going 1-star and 2-star, and they started making those $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 a month. And here we were stuck at $11,000, $12,000 a month. I know you're feeling sorry about that. Yeah. I'm still going to work, right? And it was bothering me because I knew I just needed to help one person go ambassador, and I could probably get out of there. Well, that ended up happening 14 months in. But at the turn of the year, in 2011, I realized we've got a list, and I try to make this fast. We have a list in the feeder department where you can sign a list and take the week off the next week without pay. All right? Well, this is a list that they put together. And most guys don't have the capacity to use this list more than maybe a couple times a year. Because how many of us can take a week off without pay? Right? It's like, maybe one day, right? Well, in 2010, I made about $47,000, okay, from UPS. Well, if you do the math on a feeder driver that's got 19 years in it, the average salary is $80,000. So I made just, a little less than, a little bit more than half of my salary. You know why? Because when we got going in March, this thing got so serious, I started cutting my hours back, like it said on that one slide, and I stopped going for that overtime like all my coworkers were doing. I was turning out at $35 times time and a half is what? What was that? About $52. I was turning out $52 an hour work, right? And I was only making about $6,000 a month at that time. I know that's pretty good. But I was turning that down, giving that away, because I knew that one day it was going to be substantial enough for me to walk out there. Well, in January, I went to work January 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, because they gave us the first dollar. And on the 5th, it's a Friday night, I called in. I said, I can't come tonight. So I called them. You ever called in? They give you that sob story, or they need you, right? Well, I called in that night. Boop, not coming. That was the last day I ever went to UPS, right? Well, the next week, I signed the list. So the 2nd week of January, I signed the list. I got off. The 3rd week, I signed the list. I'm off. The 4th week, I signed the list. I'm off. All of February, I signed the list. I'm off. All of March, I signed the list. I'm off. All of April, the entire month, I'm off. I still unemployed. 0251137, Kevin Merryweather, Brown Thunder. Brown Thunder is my handle, right? So I'm off. All of April. The haters are hating. My coworkers are seeing me at the mall in the middle of the day because we work at night. And we can go to the mall and they want you to have your butt to work that night. They see me in the mall, I wouldn't be there that night. And so May 1st, I get a call from the boss's boss's boss. Big boss, the guy that makes all the decisions. When he calls you, you jump. Because usually you're in trouble. Well, he calls me on a Sunday, never get it. I was in church, get the message. I listen to the message, and it was Ron. He says, hey, I need you to call me right away. And I ain't been there since January 4th. This is May 1st. I still work there, but I ain't been. And I says, well, I'll make him wait. So I call him Tuesday. Because I know what's going to happen. I call him on Tuesday. I say, hey, Ron, what's up? Merryweather, how about it? Hey, Kevin, I need you back in the South, man. I need you back in here right away. I'm getting all these guys. Everybody's complaining, talking about you taking time off. I said, oh. Is the list still up? The layoff list? Yeah, it's still up. Well, you put the list up. I just sign it every week. That's your list, not mine. You give us all the options. I kind of abused it, but no one's ever done this, so they've never been in this situation. Well, he says, well, I gotta have it back. I says, well, when do you need me back? He says, next week. I said, well, I can't go next week. I got a full schedule. Schedule's booked. Can't do it next week. This is the boss's boss's boss. And he says, all right. the third week in May, you gotta be back in uniform. I need you on X amount run that week. I said, Ron, I'm not trying to be funny, but that week is just, what is that? And he says, Kevin, are you serious? I go, yeah, man. He goes, yeah, I heard you're doing pretty good in that thing, selling those shakes. That's exactly what he said. And I said, yes, it's going okay. And he says, man, listen, I'm proud of you, I'm happy for you and your family, but you still work here. And that's when he tried to put his thumb on. You ever have him put the thumb on you? Yeah. You know how they put the thumb on you because they know they own you, because they pay you, right? Well, at this point, this is when it gets good. I said, well, Ron, yes, I still do work here. I am an employee of UPS, but I cannot come back the third week. He says, well, you need to come back fourth week no matter what. I gotta have you in the salary. That's it. I said, well, Ron, that's the end of the month. I'm closing the month, baby. I can't come back. He says, Kevin, sounds like you need to make a decision. I said, well, you know, it sounds to you like I've already made a decision. And he said, what do you mean? I says, what do I need to do to quit or retire? He says, are you serious? You're going to quit your job over that stuff? And I said, yeah. I said, you ain't seen me in 5 months, and last year I made half my salary. Don't sound like to me I need UPS anymore. And he said, this is so funny. He goes, yeah, but how long is that going to last? And I said, well, I don't know. No idea. Don't have a crystal ball. But I'm going to give it, I'm going to dive in with both feet, and I'm going to give it my all, and do the best I can. And he says, well, you need to, he says, call HR and talk to them first. I said, no, don't need to call them. You call them and tell them I'm not coming back. I don't need to call them. I says, I got your uniforms, I'm going to bring them back to you. And I says, I still have my badge, I'll bring it back, and I'm done. He says, you serious, you going to make this? Yeah, over the phone right now, I'm done. I quit. And I'm going to tell you, it wasn't that I was quitting because I was just so confident that, oh, we're going to go out and make this thing happen. I was a little bit nervous because at 17 I signed the application, and I've never been without a job. And I'm only making about $15,000 a month this month. I just broke my first ambassador that month. When I made that call, the ambassador wasn't even over yet. The ambassador hit at the end of the month. Remember, I'm in an 8-month kind of flat point. It took me 6 months to go ambassador. 6 months later, I ain't got one in sight. And here they are, strong on me. But guess what I had? From the consistency that we were doing every month, 20 parties a month, we started building momentum, right? And from that momentum, I could tell that ambassador was about to pop that month. There was no way I could take my hand off the plow and go back into that truck. This is a great story. I get Nick Sarnacola coming into Jacksonville that month. We're having an event like this. Tim and Holly Kirkland was supposed to take him to the airport. I begged Tim and Holly, I says, please let me take him to the airport. I know I'm only a itty-bitty punk ambassador, but can I take him? Because Nick only has like multiple stars to take him to the airport. And Holly Kirkland was like, Tim was like, sure, I don't care, whatever, you and Holly decide. I was like, thank you, Holly. So she said, yeah, you can take him, just have him there on time. So I said, Nick, I'm taking you to the airport. I pick him up the next day, and I said, Nick, I need to talk to you real quick. I got 20 minutes in the car with him. I says, hey, I'm being strong-armed by UPS. You know, I know they're gonna, this is before the call, by the way. I says, I know they're gonna make me come back to work any day now. What do I do? And he says, well, how much you making? I tell him the story, and he says, well, let me ask you this. If you go back to work, and you miss the momentum that your team is about to hit, and the company is about to hit, what does it cost you? I says, I don't know. He says, well, what if you leave, and it all falls apart? He says, because I can't tell you to quit your job. You gotta make that decision. He says, what if you quit, and then it all goes away? He says, what if dinosaurs come back and eat me, Blake, and Ryan? This is exactly what he said. He says, what if Visalus goes away, the whole company? He says, do you think, with the skill set that you have, you could drive a truck for another company and make $3,000 a month? I said, yeah. He says, do you think, with the skill set you have, you could make at least $2,000 a month in another direct sale company selling whatever you needed to sell? I said, yeah. He says, well, that probably replace your income. And he says, so there really is no loss there if the entire Visalus went away and was eaten by dinosaurs. And I said, okay. And he says, now, ask yourself this question. What if you quit, you step out on faith, and you go all in like you know you can? What is it worth to you? And at that moment, guys, that's when I quit my job. And so that's why I was so confident on the call, because I had this talk with Nick a couple days earlier. And so the last day at work looked something like this. That black stretch Hummer right there shows up in my house. I'm in Texas, I'm in Dallas, Texas. And And one of my ambassadors says, hey, what are you going to do for your retirement? I said, I'm going there and take my uniforms on, I'm going home. He says, no, you got to go out in style. So literally, less than 24 hours from the time I leave UPS, I order the stretch Hummer, and I make phone calls, and I say, hey, I'm retiring tomorrow, everybody get to my house at X time. And so all of these guys show up, because they ain't got jobs, and they drive around in free BMWs, right? So this is what it used to look like when I would come home, right? That's my daughter, Marisha, that's my son, Caden, that's my grandson, Christian, and that's Bryce upside down. So these are the twins, and that's my grandbaby, that's my daughter. But, and the kids, all they know is time. All they want is your time. They don't know UPS, they just want your time. Well, that was my last day. I took my box out and ended up, that was an old, I took a picture in the front of this truck, because this was a 1970-something truck. And if you got one of these trucks at night, it was a bad night. And guys used to, no, really, because they're horrible. And they're slow, and they're loud, and you can't talk on the phone, right? And I was like, what are you driving tonight? Man, I don't know. You know, and so I took a picture in front of that. You know why? Because they used to give me those old trucks at the end of my run. Because everybody kind of could tell I was on my way out, right? And I used to be the one guy that would be like, hey, give me the old International. I'll take it. These guys are crying about the old trucks. Just give them to me. Give me the old ones, I'll take it. You know why? Because it didn't matter what they gave me. I was leaving. Would it matter if you knew 6 months from now you were leaving? What happened at work? Well, let me tell you. That day right there, when you pull up in that 750, right? And they told me, one of the supervisors called me and said, hey, they heard you coming because we got a procession coming like a funeral. I took 75 people to work with me that day. Right? 75 people. And the last time I put on a uniform, right? And this is the guy that gave me the idea. That's old Tim Socks right there. You take that uniform off the last time, right? Got your bodyguard vice shirt on, and then you put your ambassador jacket. How many of you guys want to put an ambassador jacket on? Right? That was the first ambassador that we broke right there. That was the guy that took 14 months right there to go. All right? Well, guess what? That's what it looks like when you put that ambassador jacket on, and that's what that limo is going to look like in front of your house. You know who else did this? Ryan Miller did it. And the day when Ryan called me, he says, Kevin, I'm retiring. I just ordered a stretch limousine, and he says, I need you to meet me. And I said, no worry, I ain't got a job. I made a few phone calls. Some of my ambassadors, we all met at my house and went to Ryan's job. We had a procession probably 5 times longer than the one I had for Ryan. We had about 40 BMWs there for Ryan. No, I'm serious. It was crazy, right? So, yeah. That's my dad, my mom, Stephanie, and then her mom and dad, right? It's a great day. Now, that's my mother-in-law back there. Bryce, the boys, the kids are so funny. You know how you tell them, hey, we're going to have a limousine. The kids are like, yes, a limousine. But when it finally pulls up to the house, they get scared. They're like, look at it. So they don't want to get in it. So Bryce starts crying and pitching a fit. So he falls asleep, you know, when they cry, they're tired. So he falls asleep. My mother-in-law thinks she's his protector. She don't let nobody get near the kids when we're over here celebrating. All the people, you can see them right here. They're behind us, in shadow. She's the only one over there watching the truck like somebody's going to steal Bryce. And that thing's tricked out on the inside. I mean, music and all kinds of stuff. But that was just some of the folks there that came out to celebrate our last day. And they told me not to bring the limousine on property. So this isn't UPS. This is another company. UPS is over that way. And so I said, hey, they said, don't bring it on property or they're going to call the cops. That's what the loss prevention supervisor told me. And I said, okay, no worries, we'll just park across the street. So, yep, big day, hugs. Because I told her a long time ago that we would make it and we would one day not have to have jobs, right? And it actually happened. You imagine when that day happens for you, what it's going to feel like, right? And yep. First ambassador check right there, Blake Mountain. Just some of the team at another event. And, oh, thank you, Brian. Brandon, you're a man. Woo, you're so good. This guy, y'all give it up for Brandon Jones. Okay, you saw that picture? You know what it's going to be like when you retire? I want you to get that in your head. I want you to think about what your last day is going to look like. That was my last day. And it used to be it was a big deal, okay? But today, it's just another day. Because we've done so many crazy and fun things in the last 4 years since I retired, that day doesn't even hold a candle to some of the things we've been able to do, okay? But I want you to get that day in your head, and I want you to start dreaming about what you're going to do. because there's somebody that's going to relate to your story, and they need to hear it. Now, this event, national, oh, that's bet. Yeah, we got, okay, so yeah, enroll in bet. I was thinking that was an SC slide. Enroll in bet, $29 a month, guys. The personal development piece of this is going to help you to become a better user that you can run the play and get this thing done, okay? Now, with that, National Success Training is coming up on the 10th and 11th of April. This is where everything comes together, 10-year celebration. Neon's going to launch. All of the champions are going to be crowned. All the documentation that we created over the last 6 months or so will come together on one stage. You got to be there. If you want 2015 to be your year, you got to be there. If you're not, if you haven't made the decision to go, figure it out. I don't even know how far Fort Lauderdale is from here. I have no idea.
17 hours.
Okay, it's kind of far. I was in Atlanta last night, it wasn't that far. So, it wasn't that far, just drive. And then I was in Tallahassee a couple days before that. I was like, y'all better drive. And then I go to Jacksonville. We're 4.5 hours away. So 17 hours is a little ways, but hey, check it out. 17 hours is nothing, nothing. If this is your last year to ever have to have a job, it'd be nothing to drive down there and back. All right? So figure it out. Don't make excuses. Make it happen. We'll see you there. How many guys going with us to NST? With that, help me bring back up. Thanks for having me, guys. I completely enjoyed it. We've got a couple more trainings, guys, and so don't go anywhere yet. A couple more very important trainings. But thank you for having me. I super enjoyed it, guys. You guys are rock stars. I'm proud of what everything you guys have done in this market. Believe me, they're talking about St. Louis and this market around the Visalus community. So with that, let me bring back up Miss Courtney and Chris Freeman.
All right, we're just going to kind of reset and recap a little bit of what Kevin brought to us, which was amazing. So what I need you to do, this is like the teacher in me. You're probably not going to like me right now. I'm going to have you stand up, find someone you did not come with or you do not know, okay? And you are going to share one takeaway that you just learned from Kevin Merryweather. All right, so find someone that you don't know very